Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday, everybody. What are you good at? What are some of your strengths and skills that you're really, really good at? This is what we're going to be talking about today. This is what I'm going to talk about today for just a few moments. So I'm live now. Hello, who's joining me? I'm live on 3 platforms. I'm using StreamYard to broadcast on my Facebook profile and on my 2 YouTube channels. And I'm curious who's watching me right now. Type your name in the chat box. It'd be great to see who's here. I want to talk about what you're good at. Why do I want to talk about that? Well, partly because I'm a career coach, and it's always a question that I discuss with my clients. I want to know what they're good at. And the other thing is because when we talk about, or when we identify, I should say, things we're good at, it feels good. Right? It feels good when we do things that we're good at. It feels good when we talk about things that we're good at, and it feels good when other people notice that we're really good at certain things. That's why I want to talk about it. So how would you know what you're good at doing? I'm just curious. Whoever's viewing me right now, how would you know what you're good at? Can you write down a few things in our chat box? Or if you're watching this on replay, how would you know? Well, one of the ways for you to know is by the ease of doing that activity. For example, right now I'm doing a live, and I have to admit that the first time I did a live, I didn't feel that good about it. I didn't feel too comfortable with it. In fact, I didn't even want to do lives on Facebook. I had done lives on another platform and noticed, okay, I think I can do that, but I'd never done one on Facebook, and I was hesitating. But over time, I started noticing, I think I could do this. I'm getting good at it. So how do you know when you're good at doing something? Can you type down in the chat box, first of all, where you're viewing me from and what you think you're good at, or what you know you're good at, I should say. I want to hear from you. And if you like this live, add some stars and asterisks and everything else. So what are you good at? Can you tell me something you are personally good at? Some people are awesome with social media. I'm not that good at that. Some people are really awesome with crafts. And it's been something that they've learned since they were a kid, since they were a child. Some people are really, really good with languages. They can pick up a language just like that. So what are you good at? Now, you want to start thinking of skills that have helped you thrive in your education, skills that have helped you at work, maybe skills that have helped you during volunteer experiences. You want to think of the skills that make you feel empowered, right? Those skills that make you feel empowered are things that you're good at. Oftentimes, we take that for granted. I'll give you an example. I was at a meeting last week, and I was telling the interviewer, because it was like an interview. I was being interviewed for a consulting job. The girl says to me, "What do you mean by that it was easy for you to do this?" So I told her that this activity was so easy for me to do. I didn't have any problems with it. But what I really meant was that I have really good interpersonal skills, that I'm able to identify when somebody is sad. I'm very empathetic. Those are things that I was good at, that I was kind of taking for granted. I wasn't always good with dealing with people's stress, but I developed that over time. But I didn't really recognize that in me. So what are you good at? Oftentimes somebody will maybe tell you, you're really good at this. You've been able to do this without any problems. So what have you noticed? about you that makes you good at something? Can you add a couple of things in the chat box? I'd love to know where you're viewing me from. So the country or the city where you're at right now, your name, and one thing that you're good at. Let's have a conversation. You know, with these lives, it's easy to think that I'm by myself, but I know that I'm not, because there's a 2 right here at the top. One person is viewing me from my YouTube channel. So hello, from my English teacher, Linda G YouTube channel. Hello. How are you? I'd really love to know who's watching me right now. I didn't know I had this feature on StreamYard. I can tell who's watching me from where. So you might be really good at teaching. You might have a really good sense of humor. So you want to start thinking, what am I really good at? And of course, what comes to you naturally? What's natural for you? Maybe you're a naturally good cook. Maybe you don't even have to look at recipes, right, to cook something. I have to, well, not all the time. I was going to say I have to look at recipes. If I'm cooking something new, completely new, then I'll follow the recipe. But normally I don't look at recipes. Maybe you're really good at that. You've never followed a recipe and everybody compliments you. Hi, it says IQT. Hi, IQT Cat. What a nice name. How are you today? How are you today? And you're viewing me on YouTube? That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm really glad that you're here. What are you good at, IQT Cat? What are you good at? And I also see that somebody else is viewing me from my Facebook profile. What are some of your strengths, IQT Cat? Now, other ways to know what you're good at, I mentioned what comes to you naturally. What are some of your favorite hobbies, and how do you spend your free time? You know, for some strange, crazy reason, I love making videos. Like right now, I'm on a video, right? Now, I didn't always like doing videos, but I've noticed that the more I do it, the more it becomes easy and the more it becomes something I'm good at. So have you noticed that when you do something that you enjoy and you do it time and time again, that you can actually get really good at it? And of course, the reason I'm talking about this today is because if you're looking for work, you want to put emphasis on things you're good at, things that you love, things that, you know, comes easy to you. Now, that doesn't mean you don't need to improve certain things, but it's great if you can match your skill set, your strengths with jobs. You know, not every employer will also require you to have the education that matches those skills. A lot of times, employers will want to know, can you do this job, right? Can you do the work we want you to do? And if it matches your strengths and your skills, then maybe the education you have isn't as important. Now, sometimes, you know, I'm all for education. Believe me, I have 2 masters, and I learned a lot from those masters. I learned a lot of research. So I have great research skills from those masters, from the 2 masters that I completed. I'm really good with researching too. But I didn't develop the skills of being good with people through my research, right, through my masters. That came with experience. So ask yourself, what am I good at? What am I really good at? What is coming natural to me? So I'd love to hear more from you, right? I know I have somebody watching me right now on my Facebook profile. Hello, hello. Can you write your name in the chat box? And I still have the person that's on English Teacher Linda G, my YouTube channel. Maybe it's IQT Cat that's still here. It's really nice to see you here. So what are you good at? What are kind of things that you're really good at? I'm going to give you one more way of you telling. How can you tell when you're really good at something? Well, what were you good at as a child? When you were a child, what were some of the things that you enjoyed doing when you were a child? Now, believe it or not, this is true. When I was a child, there was a couple of things that I remember that I was really good at. I was really good with crafts. I was good with sewing and knitting and creating things with my hands. I was really good at that. I remember that specifically. And another thing that I was good at is I was really good with telling stories. Oh, hi, Joy. Thanks for being here, Joy. It's nice of you to join us. So I was really good with telling stories. I would record stories on a tape recorder. Joy, what are you good at? I know you're good at lots of things, but what's one thing that you're good at, Joy? What's one thing that you're good at? You're probably really good at taking care of people. Tell us, what are you good at, Joy? You know, a lot of people know they're good at something and feel they're good at something, but won't talk about it. And you know, part of that is cultural thing. Part of that is also, I remember, you know, when I was a kid, oh, you love teaching. Do you love it so much that it just seems to come natural for you? Is it now natural for you to teach? Because I want to know if it was always natural for you, or if it was always easy, or if it was always something you loved. I'm curious about that. So Joy says, I love teaching. I want to know, did you always love teaching? Or is that something that kind of developed over time? When I was a kid, I was always pretending to be a teacher too. Yeah. And you know, back then, I have to admit that women in Canada, because I'm from Canada, there were only two main occupations at the time, or at least in my eyes as a young girl, there was only two main occupations. Well, let me say three: teaching, nursing, and being a mother. When I was a kid, and you know, we would be teachers or nurses or be mothers. And I remember, okay, thanks. So you find yourself listening to people. And do you find that you're a good listener? Are you a good listener? Not everybody has the ability or the skill of listening, right? Not everybody's good at listening. So that could be one of your strengths as well. So when I was a little girl, right, okay, you're a good listener. That's a really important skill, especially when we are working with people, right? When we're working with people, like in counseling and in therapy, and when we, you know, are helping people in different ways, that listening skill is so important. So when we know our strengths, when we know our abilities, when we know our talents, and we're at an interview, of course, well, we're going to want to talk about that, obviously, because the employer will want to know, what are you good at? What are your skills? What are your abilities? Why are you suited for this position? So that the ability to talk about what you're good at is helpful, mostly for interviews. And I'm trying to think, help me out here, guys. Is it helpful in other ways? I think when you're networking, it's helpful. It's helpful to to tell people, yeah, I can help you with that. I'm really a great listener. And you would show them by listening, for example. So when you're networking, it might be helpful to be able to talk about things that we're good at when we are, at an interview as well. I'm trying to think of when else. I think when we're going through a challenging time, a difficult time, we want to fall back on our strengths and our abilities and things that we're good at. Because if we're going through a difficult time, and I mean, different types of difficult times. Sometimes we're just sad. We're experiencing some sadness. That could be a difficult time. By using our strengths, and if we're not aware of our strengths, if we're not aware of our natural abilities, then we're not going to know what we can tap into to change our mindset, right? So if I'm sad, then if I know I'm a good listener, then I might want to reach out to people who need somebody to listen to. And then what's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? If I know I'm sad and I don't want to be sad, and I reach out to people who I know need to be heard, what do you think would happen to me? Any ideas? It will help us make us feel better. And it's going to help them, of course. It's going to be very helpful to them, but it's going to make me feel better too. And it's going to make me help me get out of that sadness. So when we use our skills and abilities, it's not just for job search interviews. It could also be to help us change our mindset, change our mood. When I do videos, it's kind of crazy how it's working now, but I'm really enjoying giving videos. But it's not just doing the videos, right? It's about giving of myself, giving of my strengths, my abilities to hopefully help somebody who's listening, right? Exactly, Joy. It's exactly what it is. It brings satisfaction. You're listening, your strengths in listening to people who need that or want that brings us satisfaction. So the more we work with our skills and abilities, the more we know what those skills and abilities are, the more we're apt to use them and help other people. And of course, bring satisfaction to us. And there's nothing wrong with having that type of satisfaction. It makes us want to do it more. And of course, if we're doing it with the right intention to help people, that's even better. To me, that's like a bonus, right? That's bonus. So really cool. All right. So I'm going to end in just another couple of minutes. I want to know more now, a little bit more about you. We talked about what are you good at. I talked about different ways that you could identify what you're good at. I want to know more now about who's listening and about what you're good at. I know Joy is really good at, and I'm going to put this down. Joy is really good with teaching and really good at listening. But I want to know, what else are you good at? And when we know we're good at something, it does bring us a certain level of satisfaction. What else? Whoever's listening to me, because I know right now there's a person on my Facebook profile. I just discovered this with StreamYard. I can tell there's one person on my personal profile and one person watching me on English, my YouTube channel, English teacher Linda G. I didn't know that I could do that before. So what are you good at? Let's finish it up with that. And when you say it out loud, now I know right now you're probably just going to chat. You're going to write it in the comment. But if you say it out loud, like I am right now, it seems like I'm talking to myself, but I'm not. I'm talking to you right now. When you say it out loud, I'm really good at teaching. It feels good inside of us as well, doesn't it? So say it out loud. Whatever you're going to type in the chat box, whatever you say you're good at, Type it in the chat box, but say it out loud too. You might think it's a little bit weird to say it out loud. Maybe there's people around you and you're going to go, oh, I don't want to know. I don't want to say it out loud. People are going to think I'm crazy. I'm talking to myself. Well, guess what? I'm talking to myself right now. It sounds kind of funny, but I am, but I know you're listening to me. So if you say it out loud, I'm going to be hearing you, and I'll be able to talk with you as well. So when you say it out loud, you might want to say it in front of a mirror. And I looked because I have a mirror right here, right next to me. Sometimes when I want to, this is going to sound really weird. Do this. For example, okay, tomorrow I have to give a whole day webinar on Zoom. I've never given a whole day Zoom call. It's a webinar on emotional intelligence. It's going to be great. I'm a little nervous about it because I've never given a whole day on Zoom. I've given a 1-hour seminar on Zoom, but never a whole day on Zoom. So I'm a little bit nervous about it. So what I'm going to be doing to pump myself up, to get me feeling really confident, is I'm going to say, I got this. I'm really good at this. And I am prepared. So, it's not like I'm not prepared. I did spend quite a few hours preparing myself, but I'm going to say it. And I might even say it in front of a mirror. I got this. I'm good at this. I love teaching and I'm a great teacher. So you might want to say that in front of a mirror, especially if you want to feel super confident when you are, encountering a new situation. Like, for example, if you were being interviewed, right, for a job, or if you were networking, to meet people. You want to say it out loud before to get yourself feeling good. I'm sure Tony Robbins does that. I'm sure he does. Anyways, I'm a career coach. I'm here to help. I work primarily with women. I help women identify their ideal careers, identify their skills, their strengths, and match their skills and strengths with careers that they're going to love. And if you ever want more information about my services, just send me a private message. It'd be great to work with you as well. Have yourself a wonderful day. And if you are, thanks. Thank you. Thank you so much. If you have other comments, add them to the comments section on YouTube, of course, and on Facebook, of course. And I will reply to your emails, or not your emails, but your comments as well. All right, everybody. Thank you. Have a great day. See you soon, everybody. Bye.